All right, we're good. So how does the mother view Tet? How does the mother view the holiday? What does she think about it?
It is, oh,
You can go ahead.
it's like, it's more so she views it as a tradition, as an important day of the year.
What are traditions? I'm glad you mentioned that word.
A tradition is something you do every year, repeatedly.
Yes, and
Like
what if
putting up a Christmas tree?
Exactly. And what if you're in general, what if we were to describe, what does it mean if I were to just describe her as being a traditional woman? Does it necessarily have to relate to the holidays?
No, it could be anything.
What else?
She just likes doing a lot of fun stuff, like
traditional, like, it has
like
a lot of traditions.
Every year she does something that they have to do. Is like something they would do. It's part of their routine.
And part of their, maybe not even
like
routine,
showering.
but part of
Showering's a tradition.
Beliefs. It's part of their beliefs, miss.
There we go. Part of their beliefs.
A traditional routine.
Exactly. You guys got it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use that little note taker with this poem. Again, I know we already read it, but we're just going to take some of this information and I'm going to show you how to use the note taker. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the lines that we see from the poem that shows the mother being traditional, because this will give us information about our main character, whose name is Ha. We're going to get into that today as well. But on the left side of the note taker, and you'll see on my screen, that's where we're going to put the evidence from the text, the detail. Anything that gives information about Ha, her family, who she is, that goes on the left. On the right side of the note taker, that's where we make our inference based on the evidence. That's where we're going to talk about what it shows. So basically the left side is the evidence, the right side is the analysis. So looking at the poem, what line in here shows that the mother is traditional? What line is the best one to choose? Ruth, go for it. I look at you guys raise your hands. I love
Wait, what
it.
did you say, miss? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
That's okay. Well, I didn't even realize some people were raising their hands. I apologize. I wasn't clicking over. But what I think Ruth's going to answer it because I saw her hand up. But what line in here shows the mother being traditional? Do you have one, Ruth?
The foretells the whole year one.
Yeah, that's a great one. Because what is she basically saying there?
How you act on that day, like, I don't know. It's like predicts how you're gonna act the year.
Exactly, because foretell, I'm glad you used that word too, predicts. It's basically saying what you do today is going to say what the mood is for the rest of the year. So let's take that line. I'm going to copy it, or I'm going to put it up on the organizer so you can be able to follow along with what I'm doing too. On Monday, I'm going to try and get it so you guys have the book on Teams, and if that might even mean you can copy and paste some of the evidence, which will go a little faster, but I apologize today. You're going to have to. So Ha is the main character, the girl who's
Ha's the girl?
Yeah. The next poem talks about her. The third poem talks about her name and more about who she is. But yeah, good question. That is the narrator, the young girl. So mother warns, so you're copying this on the left side. How we act today foretells the whole year. Oops, the whole yeet. And this is page 1. I'll let you know the page numbers because if you're on the PDF, it doesn't give you them. So mother warns how we act today foretells the whole year. That goes under evidence. And then what we were saying before is the mother is a traditional woman who relies a lot on her what?
Traditions.
And use another word. Someone said it, and it's actually
like Ruth said, beliefs.
Yeah, beliefs. Good. For beliefs, and I'm also going to put and culture, right? Because this is connected to their culture. And again, you guys may have traditions of your own, whether it's related to a holiday or even on a holiday, food or you do specific things. Technically, they come around holidays, but it could also be other times, specific things you do even, on a weekly or monthly basis. Or in terms of, religion or anything related to that, that can also be part of a tradition or a belief. Jose, you got this down?
Miss, did you realize you type so fast that it's
I
like
know.
that
Miss,
line thing?
what are we clicking on? Please hold.
David, interrupt me one more time, bro.
Yeah, Julian's
That-
finished, and David, I'll answer your question.
That line thing, where you type at, it's like your word overlaps it. That's how fast you type.
Oh, how fast I type?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You'll get, it's all the practice I have. So I'm going to use that for another 30 seconds, and I'm going to click back over.
Miss, I'm getting it down now.
Okay. Good. So 30 more seconds, and I'm switching back over. I'm going to click back over to the poem, but then I'll come back. So if you haven't finished yet, I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. So don't worry, don't freak out. So what's another tradition in here that the mother has related to the holiday? What's another tradition in there?
What you said? I couldn't hear.
What's another tradition here? So we talked about, Ruth mentioned how they act today foretells the whole year. What's something else you can or can't do on this holiday, according to the mother?
They have to smile no matter how they feel.
Good. Everyone has to smile no matter what. How about down below? What are the two things they?
Ooh,
Go ahead.
ooh,
Tell me one.
me.
Tell me one of them.
No one can no one can sweep.
No one can sweep. So David, you wouldn't be doing any sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other one? No one can do what?
What, Miss?
One. I said you couldn't be doing any sweeping. No one can sweep on the holiday.
No one can splash water.
Good. No one can splash water. So these might be silly, but again, these are some of the mother's beliefs surrounding the holiday. So again, it's showing that she's traditional. It's showing what she's believing in.
Miss, why would they be splashing water?
I don't know, right? Like even like maybe the sink or something,
I don't know.
or just as I don't know.
I like splashing water.
You do. I'm glad.
From my
all right,
water bottle.
I have a volunteer before we're going to move on to the next poems where we'll get more in depth because we haven't read them yet. Could I have a volunteer, someone raise their hand and read these two stanzas I have up on my screen out loud? Raise your hand if you would like to read out loud. All right, Shaylee, why don't you go for it? You read the two stanzas, and then I'll ask another volunteer to go from where it says now I'm 10.
What the heck,
what I want you
Miss?
guys
I wanted to read.
Tell David.
to know why.
Now I am 10, learning to embroider circular stitches, to calculate fractions into percentages, to nurse my papaya tree to bear many fruits. But last night I pouted when Mother insisted one of my brothers must rise first this morning to bless our house because only male feet can bring luck.
Beautiful. Thank you. Someone else, Nashla, can you tell me one thing you learned about Ha in those two stanzas? What's something that's told to us or that we have to text?
That she's very smart and she knows more than her age than
One thing.
what she is.
She said one thing.
David, I'll handle that. Thank you, though. Go ahead. Keep going.
She's normally a 10-year-old girl won't know all those things, so she knows a lot for her age.
Yeah, you're right.
She knows. She's only 10.
And what do you think she's kind of doing? Someone else can step in too here. Think about if you have younger siblings or when you were this age, what do younger kids always want to act like?
They're acting.
They are.
She's
Like-
acting
like
older than she
Crazy
is.
people. They want to act like animals.
Like,
That's how my sister acts.
She's acting
How about in
older than
terms of-
she is.
yeah, she's trying
Like
to
the
act older
boss.
than she is. So on our chart, and again, this is the last thing we're going to put down for this one, and then we're going to move on to our new poem. Is that stanza. Don't worry, I'm going to still ask for volunteers in a minute. I know you guys are in the mood to discuss, which I love. But now I am 10, learning, or actually I'm going to say now I am 10. Then in the line below, actually, hold on. Now I am 10, and then I'm going to do ... because I'm going to jump down and quote where it says, hold on. I need to make sure I got this right. Now I'm 10, comma, learning ... And then I'm just going to put this one in to calculate fractions into percentages. So I did the ... the ellipsis there because I cut off part of the quote and jumped down to the other one because I think this shows a little bit more in terms of what we were just saying is that she likes to act what?
Older than she
They
is.
wish is.
Exactly. So hot. She likes to act grown or older, but she is also on the verge of what? Because how old is she?
What?
10, she's
How old
almost
is
gonna be a preteen and then a teenager.
Exactly. So she likes to act grown, and she is on the edge of becoming.
A teenager.
I mean, she's just like me. My mom said that when I was much little, I knew more than what my age is supposed to be.
Yeah, and she is. I mean, she
She
is
said
very
my
smart.
mind is like a 17, 18-year-old girl, and I'm only 13.
Stop
Well,
the cap.
as you guys continue to read, you are going to realize she is very smart and she can do these things, but she's saying it kind of in the way like, oh, now I'm 10, like learning to calculate fractions into percentages. So think about how a 10-year-old would actually be saying this and like feeling about this.
Weird.
Excitedly, like they'd be like, I'm 10 and I'm learning to calculate fractions into percentages.
Going up. Did you get it written down?
Decimals.
Another minute or so, and then we're going to move on. The next one.
Miss, I can't talk, but you forgot to put 2.
Oh, where are you looking?
In the second one, in the inference reasoning. Or I'm just done. I don't know. But
Oh, thank you. You're right. I did. Thank you. Typo.
Don't worry, miss.
Everybody
It's
makes.
fine. I didn't even notice that.
I'm glad someone did. I didn't notice it at all. Even when you were like, oh, you forgot it. The last thing I want to say with this is at the end of this poem, what is another tradition the mom follows? Do you remember? It's in terms of like blessing the house with luck. Can someone raise their hand to tell me? What's another tradition? Do you remember from yesterday that the mom follows? Maybe someone new. I'm going to put it back up on the screen a minute. That way maybe somebody new can step in here. What's a tradition the mom likes to follow another one? I'm going to call on someone. I want someone new here. Alexiani, you there? Alexiani,
Yes, Miss.
are you looking up at my screen? Have you been following along?
Yeah, I've been doing the quotes and everything that work. Yeah.
Love it. Good to hear. But look up on my screen. The last thing I'm wondering is what's another tradition the mom likes to follow? It's about blessing the house on Tet. It's up on my screen if you need to reread.
But
It's sister, one of my brothers.
Who did-
The tradition is like only the boys have to bless
Hold
the
on,
house.
everybody else. Go ahead.
It's saying that one of the traditions is like only the boys could do the morning thing because only the boys could bring the luck.
Exactly.
The
Another
male's
tradition.
feet could bring luck.
Good. So what is that saying about their culture, Alexiani? Who is most valued in that culture?
The males.
Good. The males in that culture, and that's another reason the mom is being like, oh, they have to be the first to step down, and that's another belief and a tradition that she holds because of their culture, because of where they're from. Hold on one second. So, Annalise, could you tell me, how does Ha feel about that, and what does she do to kind of spite her mother? I know we mentioned it. Do you remember? It's up on my screen if not. How does she feel and what does she do? You there, Annalise?
Can I answer?
You can if she does not.
Miss.
One second. You've had plenty of time to talk today. Hold on. Annalise, last time, you want to try and answer this one? She's still here. Okay, go ahead. You can answer it.
Yeah. She wakes up earlier than everybody and touches the floor. She's the first one to step on the floor.
Is that a very grown-up thing to do for someone who's trying to act super mature?
No.
Probably not, right? So as much as she's trying to act grown, we should make a note under the inference section. She still behaves somewhat
like a little kid.
Yeah, like a little kid or somewhat childish. And then I'm going to put in quotes, stepping on the floor. Yeah, right. Good. So now I'm going to leave this up. I know you guys are still typing, but hopefully you have a clear idea now of what I'm expecting, and we work together on this.
Yes,
and I know
can I say something?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, then you can. So this is a clear example of how we would fill in these boxes. You don't always have to put a quote on this side. I think it's going to be helpful to you guys. And I will say, before I let you have the floor here, David, is that at the end of the unit, we do write an essay, and throughout we are going to be doing writing, and we're going to be doing some small projects. The more that you have followed along and taken the notes, I really swear it'll be so much easier to do all the assignments, especially the essay at the end, because you won't have to constantly go back into the book to find evidence. You're already going to have quotes written down. So there were a lot of people at the end of last year when we read the book who could do the essay in like just a few days because all their quotes were already here and they just copied and pasted them and didn't have to go looking for them. And there were quite a few people who had to spend a lot of time like going back into the book and rereading, and you shouldn't have to do that at the very, very end. It's kind of would be a waste of your time, unfortunately. So just make sure you're following along, getting it written down. It's going to seem like we're doing a lot of pausing at the beginning of the book to copy down notes, but it's not gonna how the whole book will go. We'll get more into it as we read. What's up, David?
So as I was trying to say, since no one else will think about this, I'm the only one who